Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Hyrule Chronicles. I think it's episode
7.
47, that's it. It was in that area.
It's Agent 47.
Yeah. I am the GM ArticulateT, and with me today, as always, I have Renji Vox being played by TheNetherlad.
Good evening and welcome.
I have Hikan Sio being played by Alvarance.
Hello.
I have Ziden Shari being played by Robopirate.
Hello.
And I have Max being played by Keistrith.
Hi.
So, what happened last time?
Last time, we were heralded as heroes in the town of Sarkosa. Because, after all, we are heroes. We had rid the town of some bandits, some magical shenanigans, and a trades corporation that was rather shady. So, yeah, we're feeling pretty good about ourselves. We went out into the town. We got into some fights. Specifically, Hikan won a fight and then beat up Renji, who, to be fair, literally asked for it. Then our friend Max had a bit of a, bit of labor, as it were, as he was hauling boxes to and fro, and got a Goron care package for his troubles. Then we regrouped at Thicket's Inn. We drank some stuff. We figured out that Hikan and Renji couldn't get drunk. Some seriousness occurred talking about a group name, which was eventually decided upon as being Storm's Eye. Then Ziden cured Hikan of his sobriety, and that was basically it. Except for us deciding that we wanted to go to Drumnik Town in a few days.
Indeed.
I would have said Max was doing their best Donkey Kong impression.
Okay.
Okay. Alright. But yes.
Oh god, I was watching the mega live stream of that earlier.
Good.
What?
The one H-Bomber guy did where he raised shit tons of money for a trans charity.
Oh, yeah. Ah! I think I remember that, yeah. Okay. But yes, I believe a restful night has passed, and it has been another day, and you wake up the next morning, ready to go. But, of course...
Hikan wakes up 30 minutes earlier than normal and just goes on Renji's door.
I open my eyes from my trance. Yes?
It's time!
4?
You said you were going to practice. Come on, let's go.
What?
Morning workout.
Okay. Renji gets out. He's wearing these, somewhat open pajamas tied with strings on the sides. When exactly did I promise this?
After I beat you up yesterday. Because you were saying that you were trying to remember some of the stuff that your dad did, and I said that we could do it, or that you could join me in the mornings to help practice, and you said, okay, so, yep, it's time.
I didn't expect this early. Hold on, give me a moment. And Renji's going to find a wash basin, splash his face, prestidigitate his Sheikah marks on his right cheek, and then left cheek, and then join Hikan. I must, for the record, state this is under duress. Where are
Whatever
we
that
going?
means. Oh no. We can do it here in the big room down next to the door. There's plenty of room there. It's nothing really big or major.
You know,
'cause,
this building does have a back garden.
Okay. Yeah, let's go there.
Okay.
As Renji tries to stretch a little bit and get a little bit
And-
limber. He doesn't really usually do this.
And then, for the sake of brevity, Hikan will eventually figure out how to ask if he can make his packed weapon into like a short sword, and he will go through kata stances using his shocky stick in the same patterns, and he's going to go through it like Tai Chi, nice and slow, so Renji can copy the motions instead of big, fast. I'm gonna beat everything.
Okay. Oh man, this is different from what my dad does. I think I've seen him. I've only seen him a few times during practice. Generally, he keeps fighting to like necessary moments, at least as far as I know.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, I know that you're already pretty good at fighting and stabbing and things, and it's just form. So we'll work on this in the morning, and it's a nice, easy way to wake up too. That way you get all nice and stretched out, and your muscles get used to moving, and you're nice and relaxed.
Yeah. Thanks. Oh, the thing that I wanted to show you yesterday, and Renji's kind of getting into a bit of a stance that he's seen his dad in during his like practice runs. So I think the way he stands like this, and he like Renji is keeping his arms in kind of like a blocking position. Like he tries and blocks things while still attacking. So maybe this works right now. Could you try and attack me? And I use the dodge action on as a bonus action.
Okay.
Rose can't do that. Rose can't do that as bonus action.
Cutting action. Oh yeah,
You can
that's
only
right.
dash, disengage, or hide.
No! No!
So it's a 15.
That doesn't hit.
Oh yeah, you're in your armor and stuff because you got ready.
Then
It's monks who get it as a bonus action when
darn it.
Yeah.
Oh, I misread.
Rogues are extra mobile.
Yeah, they're mobile though, not. Oof.
I figured they would be like a subclass that would get it.
You'd think.
Then
Here.
I misread. But like if I'm wearing my armor, which I didn't say I was putting on, then that does hit.
So Hikan goes and is like almost like boops you in the chest and goes, okay, so take your hand and go like, and he takes Renji's since Hikan's right-handed, he takes Renji's right hand and slam it against the forearm and drag it across down as you're pushing away, and you'll guide the fist away. Also, your footwork needs to work, and like Hikan will go over and push Renji's feet so that way they're in the proper line, so that way like the hips are turned and everything like that.
At some
Okay.
point, Max has come in and is just like observing.
Okay, so I'm going to try and do that, and then to take the dodge action as an action.
Better.
Still hits me because I am not wearing my armor. But then, as Hikan hits me, I step back and disengage as a bonus action.
There you go.
Still not as effective as I would have liked, to be fair, but it's. I'm going to have to work on this.
That's okay.
Thanks.
That's what mornings are for. And then Hikan will go back to doing his kata as he normally does it, while Renji probably goes and does his morning stuff. The rest of his morning stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to get prepared for anything that might happen.
By the way,
Hmm?
you were gonna tell Max something today?
Yes, but I was not entirely certain just when.
Okay.
Yeah, might as well with Renji being awake right now.
I don't want to like forget about it and have
No,
have
definitely.
him just quietly fuming in the background while you forget about it.
No. I was actually thinking of like finding a quiet spot on the boat, but that would be days away.
We're not going. We're going on horseback straight
Then on
to Drum.
horseback. We're not going to stay to figure out how to use our boat.
It was decided that it was more of a matter of time because we don't know what Flamgo's done or
Yeah,
is
that's-
going.
Yeah,
that's
we don't know how soon people will learn of Fairwind being killed.
Then
Which is also why
Renji-
we're not going down to Rigginstead and then up to Drumheim.
True.
We're cutting across.
yeah, Renji is going to put on his armor, get his cloak all nice and wrinkle free. Prestidigitation must be able to do that somehow. And then he knocks. No, before he does that, he's going to get some breakfast for himself and for Max, and then knock on Max's door.
Well, Max is in the kitchen right now because he was watching you do the martial arts stuff.
Then he's going to make some breakfast and just ask, Max, do you have some place like that you like to sit here? I know it's a bit of a barren place here, but somewhere we can talk.
Just gonna glance at her, it's like, I don't really stay in here very much.
My bad. I was trying to edit that.
Usually just sleep outside.
There's a room upstairs. I don't think people are going to bother us there. I was going to tell you some stuff yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Is now a good time?
Sure. Just about the talking dagger.
A little bit more than that. Yeah.
He still thinks it's just a magic talking dagger.
Innocence.
Okay, go upstairs, I guess.
Don't take his innocence away.
He's never had that, don't worry.
Yeah, without much effort, you do find an empty room in this big empty house.
Mm-hmm.
Fold my arms and just wait.
Okay, so Renji's going to sit cross-legged, holds out his arms, his hands, and in his grip, his familiar rapier appears. So what I was saying yesterday, Ziden has magic that he can, as far as I can know, like summons it from
Nature.
its surroundings, nature. Show studied to get his magic. You can do it somewhat innately, I think. And I've been given my magic. And his rapier shifts to a small short sword as he was using it with Hikan. Then a smaller dagger. And then shifts into a giant maul before going back into the rapier. This is a symbol of the thing I made a pact with.
So you chose to get this matter.
Maybe not with all of the information available to me at that time, but yes, I did choose.
Hmm.
And I may have... No, it's nothing might be about it. Nothing probable about it. It is the way it is. I made myself a traitor to my own people the moment I did it.
Hmm. Right. What is it?
As far as I can tell, it is a being from what we tend to refer to as the Twilight Realm. It is not the world that we see here. It is a shadow, a pale imitation of the world, hidden away from the true light of the sun and the golden goddesses.
Right.
And I've heard tales that whoever lives there used to belong to the Sheikah tribe, but no longer.
It's just sort of slowly nodding.
The thing that I talked to yesterday, it wants me to use my magic to gather creatures for it, creatures of power.
Like with the Froghemus when you shot it.
Yeah,
Vanished.
like that.
So that was weird.
Yeah. I didn't expect that to happen, to be honest. It only happened with creatures that were alive the moment I killed them.
What does it do with them?
I don't know.
Hmm.
And to be honest, I am a little bit worried.
Yeah. Sounds like something to be worried about.
Yeah. So I didn't mention this to you or basically anyone.
I get that.
No, it
I got things to hide too.
the attacker that killed the king. She has a pact with the same being.
Giving both of you magic?
Yeah, but she seems to have another pact with another creature as well, possibly a great fairy, though I can't be certain of that. And she does seem to be working cross purposes from me, the harvester, as it calls itself. Didn't, at least not to me, mention anything regarding the royal family. Just wanted to consume creatures of power.
Right.
But the moment that the Grandmaster and my father saw me jumping in between the king and her, well, I spoke the language of that creature, that being, and I was nearly killed by the leader of my family. I don't really know where I stand right now.
Max just kind of stares at the floor a bit and says, "The guy who took the princess."
Yeah.
He looked almost exactly like me.
Okay.
Don't know what's happening there, but hell, Hikan's already seen this, you might as well too. Then Max pulls up the shawl covering his arm and shows the dragon scales there, including the line from the Garaya, which is healed over with scales.
Okay. Is
You've told me where your magic comes from.
that spreading?
Yes. Whatever.
Is it harmful to you?
Yes.
In what way?
You know how I get angry when I use my magic.
Yeah, I noticed.
This is why. This thing that he did to me is turning me into some kind of monster. So I'm doing all the good I can with this power until I'm gone.
Ziden knows?
Yes.
Has he tried anything? Any healing? Any restoration?
None's worked so far. Since the only one who knows how it worked is the one who did this. It's really hard to figure out.
I can imagine. Like I have a book full of warnings and rituals specific to where I got my power from, and I'm no further than I was before I got these powers as to what this thing actually wants. But yeah, like you said, you want to use your powers for good. So do I. This is stupid. Like, you've been through such an ordeal. I just made a foolish decision one night as I snuck into the library.
Life's full of dumb decisions.
Too many. I'll be on the lookout for anything that might help you.
Thanks.
Of course.
stay the same, but I don't really have access to as much stuff as you, so.
Yeah. You never know where our paths may take us.
Hmm.
I think we could join the others, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, head downstairs.
You head
Hold on.
downstairs.
Before we leave the room, I touch Max on his shoulder.
There's a flinch, but he doesn't like hit your hand away like he normally would.
Thank you for telling me this. I realize I've not really had a confidant in a while.
Now, if I'm good for anything, it's listen to people.
You're-
There's not a lot I can judge people about.
You're pretty good at it, though. Can I hug you? Like, I know you don't deal well with that, but I kind of want to.
It's gonna give you a funny look, and then just like sort of goes, okay.
Okay. I hug Max.
Oh.
Do I need to roll like a dexterity saving throw or anything?
That's fine. It's just kind of does the sort of stiff pat on the side thing. It's like, okay, this is the thing that's happening.
Similar to like pat.
There's a pat.
Let go.
Okay. I just said like I don't know how to deal with this, but okay.
Thank you. I honestly appreciate that.
So go downstairs.
I like
I wait
to
for Monica to
imagine.
leave.
Seems so wholesome.
I like to imagine that referencing a couple episodes ago when Renji said, "You want to use your powers for good. I want to use mine for good too." Hikan just let out a really loud sneeze. I didn't want to detract from the moment.
Oh dear. Okay, so you rejoin the others downstairs. What is Ziden doing this morning? We haven't heard from Ziden.
Well, he probably got up, went and had some breakfast, and then found somewhere quiet to sit until everyone else showed up.
Okay.
Had a momentary respite after taking such a long and difficult trance.
Okay.
He needs his beauty sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah. So you rejoin the others downstairs. Mara does eventually join you guys. She's kind of got all of her stuff ready to go, and she says, "Well, we have a journey ahead of us. I don't know whether or not we wanted to get our horses or if we wanted to go on foot. I honestly don't remember much of the plan. What is it that we're doing? Are we heading to Drumnik?
Horseback to Drumnik, straight there.
Straight there.
I think one more stop at Mayaturnia to, like, make sure this place doesn't get abandoned.
Oh yeah, Mara, I need a list.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Cool. I'll meet you guys at the stable. And Hikan runs off to go get the things on the list, like feed and a couple tents and
Yeah.
rations in the form of fish, herbs, and things.
Okay.
And a cooking set.
Matt says, I'll meet you there too. I need to do something. And he's going to head to a bookshop.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay. So, Hikan, for the sake of brevity, what we'll do is we'll say that you go about getting your supplies. The running total as you get it with a cooking set, a few things of fish, some feed for the horses, maybe some various different herbs and spices, or herbs and spices, as they say over here. The grand total comes to roughly 10 gold pieces.
And tents, because I know Mara did mention camping stuff.
Yeah. Tents, two per. Do you want a 2-person tent or a 1-person tent? For the 5 of you.
2-person.
Okay. So that will be an additional 6 gold pieces for 3 of those, in order to accommodate all of you at the same time. Though, depending on how you want to share it.
Lara gets her own.
Lara gets her own. Okay, because just in case.
Then that'll depend on who's on shift to watch.
Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah. So you go through. It's a fairly pleasant jog in the morning. As you go through the process of getting all those supplies, everybody remembers you, and is more than willing to do whatever it is they can in order to ensure that you get the right amount of stuff.
And that was 10 gold pieces for the stuff, plus how much for the tent?
6.
6 per tent, so that would be
No,
3 tents.
it'd be 2 per tent, so that'd be a total of 6.
So 16. It's okay. Perfect.
Yeah. Then. So, Max, you wanted to go to a bookshop.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Were you looking for specifically magic books or just the standard bookshop?
Just the first bookshop he finds.
Okay. Right. Make an investigation check.
Aw,
Ah.
an 8.
It takes you a while to find a bookshop, but you do find one eventually. You find what appears to be a fairly small building that's kind of on the end of a street that is primarily residential. Though you can see through the kind of murky glass of the front window, there are definitely books on shelves, and as you kind of enter in, you see what appears to be a Hylian man with frizzled black hair and a very beleaguered look as he's kind of just leaning on the desk. He says, "What do you want?"
Books.
"What kind of books? I got plenty of books, but what kind of books are you looking for?"
Does he have? Is it like set out with books around on the walls?
Yeah, there's like shelves of books.
Okay. That's gonna look at the shelves. Like, Okay. I have a question out of character.
Yeah.
How many books can I buy with 700 gold? And how many unique books does he have? Because I want to buy one of each.
Okay.
I'm about to make this guy's fucking week.
Right. Okay.
I know books are expensive in the player's guide.
Alright. Where's my calculator? Let's see. 25. Oh, no. Click. That'd be 700 divided by 25. You can buy 28 books.
Done. just like goes around, gets a stack of books, puts them on the counter, goes back to the shelves, gets another stack of books, puts them on the counter, gets another stack of books, and then just says, "This'll do."
Oh, right. Okay. It's a wide variety you're going for there. You got some non-fiction, some fiction, some adult fiction, some children's fiction, some well, let's see here. We've got about that'd be by Din's hair, I don't know. That'd be running you about 700 gold. I think at best estimate it's 20. Yeah, 20. Yeah, it's 700 gold pieces, please.
That stakes out the money he was given and whatever else he had, just puts it on the desk.
It's a right. And he kind of like looks at the pile, looks at the money, and then looks at the books again, and then looks at you, and says, "How are you gonna be carrying this?"
I have a magic bag.
Hey, right. Okay.
Just starts putting them in the bag. Half the sack.
Just kind of like looking on, flabbergasted at what has just happened.
Suddenly rich.
Suddenly rich. Suddenly rich and without shelves or without products on shelves. Like,
Well, you only took like one of each, so there's probably, if there's multiple copies of the same book, then there's still those.
yeah. But there's definitely like at the end of it, as you put the last book away, you have a glance around and you see that there's like massive gaps in the shelves. But it's like kind of like very carefully. He doesn't even bother counting it. He just very carefully pulls the money to him and says,
It's like, can't risk letting any of this get away.
"Yeah." It's like, so yeah. Anything else that I can? What?
There's a brief wistful look at the other books there. Master shakes down and goes, "No, that's it. Thanks."
Okay. Cherry bye then.
Yeah, but bye. Then Max leaves. Max's hoard has begun.
It begins. Yeah, you leave the little bookshop, the little Dormouse Dictionary bookshop, and it's 28 books more.
Yay!
Woo!
You're gonna need more magic bags.
That's plenty of space. Fine. 28 books isn't that much.
Yeah, so with books in tow, I guess you meet the others back at the
They had bad disables then, because that's
Yeah.
where he said he'd meet people.
Okay, and so Mara and Ziden and Renji, did you go straight to the stables, or did you have anything else you wanted to do before leaving Sarkoza?
Does Sarkoza have any magic item stores?
You might need
Technically.
you might need to have a look around.
I'll have a look
I
around.
mean, there are stores that sell magic items, definitely.
So you're gonna want to do me an investigation roll, please.
Can I guidance it?
I guess so.
For a total of 19.
19. Okay. You have a look around town, having gotten a bit more familiar with the place in the process of your prior escapades. Sadly, you can't just find any kind of Fairwind-orientated dealer because, it's a criminal enterprise now. But you do find a shop that isn't man at shop. You find a couple of places, actually. One place you find in the process of your adventuring is a big brick building. Like, unlike the other places in the port town of Sarkoza, it looks like it's made out of this orange brick. It's fairly tall and has one big chimney stack that's blurting out all this black smoke. You've passed it a couple of times in your previous adventures through Sarkoza, but never deemed to go in. But the sign on it says The Legend Factory. And another shop that you find appears to be a little cottage that kind of is on the edge of the town that kind of sits close to the beach, and that place is called the Whale's Wishbone. And the way that the architecture kind of is uneven and asymmetrical, and you can see little sparkles in through one of the windows in this clearly very dark shop. You can tell it's probably a magical shop.
I'll start with the whales one.
Okay. So you head into the Whale's Wishbone. You have to duck to get in through the door, and the moment the door opens, you get hit with this massive whiff of like cinnamon, but also swamp water. It's a bizarre mix, but you head inside and push through the veil of incense smoke, and inside there appears to be this one desk at the front with no items on shelves, and sitting behind it is what appears to be a Zora, a sea Zora, that appears to be of the cuttlefish kind of persuasion. So it's got like a nice big shell hat. No, that's not a cuttlefish, that's a nautilus. So it's got like a pointed head at the back, and it has this kind of raggedy sort of chin-strap beard made of tentacles. It looks over, and it kind of squints at you with one eye and says, "Who goes there?"
Hello, I'm Ziden.
Ah, Ziden, you're a Sheikah, aren't you?
Indeed.
Don't get many you around here.
I would imagine not. It's quite far away from the village.
Well, if you're here for business, I am here to do business. Admiral Ashtok is my name, and wizarding is me game. I don't look it. I look like I'm more of a sailor type person, but I hate the fucking sea. It's all kinda uncontrollable and full of sharks and shit. No, staying right here on land and maybe a bathtub and magic is the good thing to go for. What can I do for you, Ziden the Sheikah?
I was curious if you'd have any items to allow one to translate written text. Possibly glasses. That would be a nice style.
Ooh, glasses. And he doesn't even like bother to look behind him. He's just kind of like, he closes one eye and rests his elbows on the counter and strokes his chin with his thumb and forefinger, and it's like, glasses. Well, I could have a look. I'll be back in a second. And he totters back into the back with a little bit of a squelch. It appears that being so close to the ocean has made the floor in this place a bit damp. Yeah. So what item in particular are you...
I'm guessing Helm of Comprehending Language is just not as a helm.
Just flavored as a pair of glasses. Okay.
Important question. Are they like half moon spectacles or like Coke bottle glasses or?
For a sailor, I feel like Half Moon would be more likely as the moon.
But he's not a sailor. He specifically said that. I was lied to.
For whales? That's still a sea theme. Seas and moons go together. Unless he goes very strange, just like wavy glasses.
You may be wrong. What he does come back with appears to be a spyglass. That appears to be gold trimmed with this kind of turquoise style finish on top of it, and it looks like it has different twisting sections, almost like a kaleidoscope. But he presents it to you and says, "Here, it's not a pair of glasses, but it's a seeing eye glass, you see. It's a spy glass, spying the languages of other things, aye."
What's the range on it?
I think it works standard like a telescope, but you have to so you might have to stand back a bit if you're reading stuff. But essentially what you do is you put it up to your eye, and as you peer through it, you twist the sections in the middle until you get a language that it actually translates to that you can read. So if you want to see it in common, then, and you have like a fucking Goron, then you just twist it until the Goron turns to common, as it were. I can be selling this to you for 450 gold doubloons, sir.
I don't have doubloons.
Oh, that's a shame. I'll be happy to take gold pieces, though. They're similar, I guess. They're made of gold.
I do have gold pieces.
Ah, that's what I like to hear.
So Ziden will, with his permission, take it, inspect it for a little while.
Okay.
Make a bit of a show of nodding and humming, and then he will put out 450 gold.
Okay. He will gladly take it. He'll he won't. His way of counting it is picking it all up in both of his hands and then squinting at it with one eye, and then just kind of like dumps it in a pot behind the desk with a loud clatter and says, "Pleasure doing business with you, Ziden the Sheikah."
You're most welcome.
I do like to think so.
Do you have any other items you wish to advertise?
Any other items that you wish to advertise? Haven't been getting much in lately. Well, tell you what, do you have anything else in mind that you would like, that you might like, and I can see if I've got it, or something close approximating to it?
No, that was my only thought of something that would be quite helpful to have. I believe there are certain items that can form a kind of safe haven tent type thing. Do you have something like that?
Let me have a look and see. When you say it's tent safe haven, do you mean like you just threw it onto the ground and like a big fuck off cottage appears, or do you need something that just makes a bubble of some kind, or what's your deal there?
I believe there was a staff that did it.
Staffy. Let me have a look. He totters back again. Before returning, with, as the GM checks his DM's guide to see if there is actually an item that does that.
I can't remember if that actually existed or if it's something I made up for a different campaign.
I mean, the thing that pops into my head is Leomund's tiny hut, but that's a spell.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't seem to find one that does that. The one thing he does eventually come back to you with says, let's see. I've got this, and he provides you with a stick. It looks like an ordinary stick, but it's got like seashells coming off of it and stuff. And he says, this one right here, this thing here, it allows you to be aware of things that might be coming your way. It's a thing of warding, it is.
Thing of warding.
Yeah, it's basically a weapon of warding, but it's a stick.
That's the one which gives you advantage on initiative, I think?
Yeah, advantage on initiative rolls. In addition, you and any of your companions within 30 feet can't be surprised, except when incapacitated by something other than non-magical sleep. The weapon magically awakens you and your companions within range if any of you are sleeping naturally when combat begins.
How much would you charge for that?
Ooh. This one will be going for 500 gold. See.
Would you be able to do it any cheaper than that?
I don't know. It's a good stick.
It's a fairly good stick. I could agree with you.
Aye.
And I do know sticks.
Mm.
You have quite some good taste, sir.
Aye, thank you. You're a good customer, you are, aye.
Depends on if anything. I do have other items which might potentially be of interest to alleviate a bit of a trade. Not for all the price, but I have a whole barrel of ale.
Barrel of ale, you see.
I also have these bagpipes.
Bagpipes, you see.
They are called Pucky's Bagpipes of Annoyance.
Oh, I've heard of them. Can't get a good tune out of that, I'm afraid.
But think about it this way. If you're ever in a situation where, you've come a bit close to the sea, just for whatever reason, you can play these and all the sharks will leave you alone.
Make me a persuasion check.
I like the implication that sharks have good taste in music.
I got 13. That's actually pretty good for my +1.
He's kind of like looks over and says, Well, I don't really have much of an intention of going close to the ocean anyway, to be true.
Shall we go for something simpler then? And Ziden will just take out these golden balls that he's had. I have 8 golden balls. I don't remember how much they were worth.
He'll have a gander at him. Let's see.
I think I remember them being fairly big.
Yeah, they're about the size of golf balls. No, it's. I think it's. Nope. Curse me in all of my fucking folders. Okay. He has a look at them. And he says, Don't have much of an eye for jewellery, friendo. It could just be like bits of wood that have been painted gold, And you might want to get your trade on with an actual jeweller, perhaps.
Alright, if you could direct me towards a jeweler, I could probably go with just paying the money now and selling the items at the jeweler.
Trying to think of where I put one. I'm not sure if there are any in Sarkoza.
In a port city? Everyone loves trading jewelry in port cities.
Yeah, but it's also a port city where you get like criminals and stuff, But I think there is one somewhere. It's probably in the main trading area of the town. Just head in that direction, you'll probably find one.
Alright, and what did you say the price was?
The price of this one, that was 500 gold, sir.
Alright, Ziden will count that out as well.
Okay.
Although he'll actually use the bag of holdings cheat feature to count it out.
Okay. He'll take it, squint at it, drop it in the bucket, and he provides you with a stick of warning.
Stick of warning.
It is a 1 foot long twig, effectively, with seashells hanging from it.
Question: if it's a stick, could he use it as a druid casting focus?
Probably.
Probably. I mean, I think it might have to be a U wand or something, like maybe a specific wood. But you can give it a shot when you next have the opportunity.
Is this not specific wood?
To be honest, I could just have it. I don't need to use it as a...
True.
I know, I'm
That's-
just curious.
Once it's attuned, I just strap it to my back and it's like, yep. speaking of, I now have to give this ring of jumping back to Hikan,
Hmm.
because I have various items now.
Yeah. So the
Oh,
weapon.
Unless someone else wants it.
So the stick of warning is an item that requires attunement, so keep that in mind.
I'm
That's
glad
like
that
triggering
everyone
the
else decided to go buy useful things and Matt's just there with a giant pile of books.
That's okay. Ziden will thank him for his time and decide to go find Renji once he's done purchasing.
Okay.
Renji was on his way to Meaturnia.
All right. So you head over to Meaturnia. You find the cottage as it is. You knock on the door, and after a brief moment, Meaturnia opens the door and says, "Ah, Renji, it is nice to see you again."
And it's nice to see you too, Meaturnia. We were very grateful for the party you threw for us. We had a good time.
I'm glad you did.
May I come in?
Oh, absolutely. She moves out the way and lets you in.
I sit down where directed, and I say, so as you are aware, the building of the Zephyr's Favor is currently unoccupied.
Indeed it is.
It used to be occupied by us just for a few days, but we are planning on leaving town rather soon. We have some unfinished business with someone over in, I believe, Drumnik.
I see. So you have no real intention on utilizing the building any further?
I can't say that we do at this time. We've talked about it for a bit with everyone in the group in Storm's Eye, and we think it would be best suited for the use of the public for now. And I was interested in talking to you about perhaps setting up a rental agreement.
A rental agreement. Well, so you would be legal owners of the place, but the usage of it is entirely up to whoever occupies it afterward?
Yes. We can probably drop some agreement with some stipulations. I personally, and with discussion of my colleagues, thought it might be a good place, very central location for perhaps the town guard to set up a shop.
Yes.
As far as location goes, might not be the best for any long-term habitation. Like we managed just a little bit. Even then, there was only a washing basin, not very much in the way of actual living space.
Perhaps it might be best behoove us if we were to turn it into some form of adventurers guild, try and encourage more individuals like yourselves who would be able to take up the call to adventure. And given that it is a port town, there are lots of people who are intending to move through rather than stay.
That could actually work very well.
There is a lot of logistics that will require discussing further, though I don't think that if you have time that is running out, so to speak, then it might be best if we were to communicate further in this matter in regards to letters, perchance. Where do you find yourselves based, if it is not here?
Possibly, most probably, Castletown, as far as we now know. I'll be, if I am there, I can be found at the castle itself, with my friends possibly staying over at the Royal Hylian Inn. Any letters of communication can be forwarded to either castle or the castle library.
Very well, very well. If that is the case, then what I shall do is I shall make plans to see if we can transform it into some form of Adventurers Guild, or failing that, a second guardhouse, or perhaps even a location where another trading company might be able to utilize a space for their official efforts. But in either case, we will forward you what it is that they are, the plans and how to proceed financially.
That sounds like a good starting point, indeed. Is there anything else that you would want to discuss? I know we've just had the festivities yesterday, but our plan to leave has been made rather abruptly, I must admit.
Well, if you are planning on hunting down further malefactors, then really there is nothing else that I need to discuss with you. Clearly you have a direction. You have more of a direction when you arrived here than any of our guards did when we were facing the problem. So...
Well, I think part of our strategy is to stick our noses where they technically should not belong.
don't get too reliant on that.
It's caused me to stray quite a few times already, so I know I'm starting to know the risk.
Of course. Well, if that is the case, then perhaps I should let you get back to business. There is, of course, not much time left in your endeavor if you are so on such a grand adventure. And of course, I will keep you updated as best I can.
Thank you. And I stand up. I shake her hand, and then I say, should you ever find yourself in Castletown, please don't hesitate to come by the castle, and when you're there, please tell the guards Renji Vox sends you, and they will extend all courtesy towards you.
Of course. Thank you.
And then I leave.
Okay. You head out, and more than likely bump into Ziden on the way.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello,
Ziden.
Hello, Renji. I was looking for you.
That sounds ominous.
So, I just bought a few items, and I had the thought that we've had these items we needed to sell for quite a long time, and we seem to be planning on going far away from any major area. Should we sell them here, or did you want to hold on to them till we get back to Castletown?
I think...
Should be perfectly reasonable to sell them.
I mean, as far as like weight goes, that won't be an issue, but we might as well sell the things. I have some metal. I have some gems.
I have gems, spices, those magical bagpipes, golden balls, several
Yes.
lyres.
You don't say.
Mostly I came to seek you because I thought you'd be better at getting me a good deal.
I'll do my utmost.
Oh yes, would you like this ring of jumping?
I
I got it from Hikan, but he seemed to not need it anymore.
I do have a lot of magic items already.
That's okay. I'll go speak with him about what to do with it.
Like I don't mind to use it. It will help with some mobility. like, I'm not
You do
sure
have
if I
to
can
attune to
use it
it.
immediately. I don't have to attune to it?
You do.
I do, yeah. That's tricky then. I'm not too certain of it yet. I think I have a good setup at the moment.
Wonderful. Let's go
Yes.
find stores then.
Mm-hmm.
Make an investigation check to find a jeweler.
I have an investigation check of +2. I'm not sure about Ziden.
+3.
Then I will help Ziden.
I'll guide myself for a total of 24.
Okay. All right. So with a 24, you do find a jeweler's. You briefly pass by man at shop, but decide against it. Chances are you probably didn't have enough money to pay for the things you were trying to sell them anyway. Instead, you find a place that is called the Seafloor Bounty, which, unlike Remain's shop back in Hyrule Castle Town, is gaudy. Very gaudy. Especially for what is effectively a jeweler's. But inside, you head in and you see this Goron with this really complicated set of spectacles that cover both of his eyes. He says, "Yes?"
Good day. I was wondering if we could, if you were open for trade.
Well, trade is a different matter, but I'm pretty sure I can do some trade. What are you selling?
I step up towards, and is there a specific, like, till or counter?
Yeah, he's standing behind a counter, and there are like racks and display cases full of all this jewelry of varying different quality and taste.
I bring out the blue gemstones, the quartz, the turquoise, and the jade, and then Ziden has the balls, and then I also place a... I don't have the balls for this. And then I place a bar of metal that I had filched off of the stores, the shelves from the warehouse, which I haven't actually seen the specific like color of it because it was in black and white, as I recall.
When you take it out, it appears to be a very distinct silver color.
Distinct silver color. Okay.
Yeah.
On our travels, we've come across these finds, and well, we personally don't have a particular use for them, so we come to a jeweler's, such as yourself.
Okay. He kind of like takes the he takes the items in tow and he kind of scans over them. And he's kind of just like pause over each one, like changing the lenses on his glasses every so often to get a better idea as to what he can do with all of this stuff. He takes a look at the jade, he puts it to one side, takes a look at the turquoise, puts it to one side, kind of sorts through the blue quartz, and kind of like rolls them in his fingers a little, puts them down. And then he takes a look at the balls and kind of just like passes one back and forth in his hands, changes the lens on his glasses and says, Now this. This here,
Yes.
these would be pearls that are covered in gold, actual gold. These are nice. You don't get many of these.
Is
Oh.
there any, like, function to them, or just for display purposes?
Well, you know how rich folks just like gaudy stuff, right?
Mm.
So, it's what's better than to have something that's already valuable and then dip it in gold, I guess. And he puts them with the pile. And he takes out an abacus and starts, like, very quickly sorting through all the different bits on it, like all the different beads. And then he puts it down and he takes that bar and he says, not sure about this one. And he kind of like puts it back in front of you and says, that is a trade bar. Not exactly sure exactly what I can do with a trade bar. I mean, it looks nice, and it's certainly valuable to someone, but not me. In the rest of this stuff, though, I can give you...
You don't use metal. Could you? Can you tell us what metal it is? We did.
Oh, it's silver.
It is silver.
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't use silver in your own settings?
Not really. I mean, well, that's the thing. It's not exactly a... Okay, look, let me explain. And he takes it and he points to you and he shows you all these different intricate markings on it. And he says, now these aren't stuff that you smelt. It's currency. It looks like this is legal tender in Holodrum, not in Hyrule. So I'm not exactly sure whether or not I can use it unless I get someone in from Holodrum who wants to have a look around. And we do get tourists and stuff, but not often enough. I'd say keep hold of it just in case you need to go over to the ocean. That's just me, you
We'll
know.
keep it in mind.
Exchange rates and stuff. Ugh. And he kind of like looks at the rest of the stuff and says, I can give you, for all of this, judging by the values and anything, 475 gold up front right now.
I am thinking that you've put quite a heavy profit margin on there, and I'm going to try and persuade him to go a little bit higher.
Okay.
With guidance.
With guidance, roll your dice and tell me what exactly do you say to try and convince him to go higher?
I'm going to try and say that like profit margins a little steep on that, and that he can definitely with like the purity of the gems and with these gold dipped pearls, that he could definitely get a higher price for them. Oof.
Roll your d4. Because you can't nat 1 or nat 20 on a skill check. It's just a very high or low number.
That's 11.
Wait. I was giving assistance as well, so isn't it with advantage?
Then it would be a 30.
Then it would be a 30. True. But you do require an action to cast guidance, and it's an action for the help action, so it's one or the other, I'm afraid.
Well, no, I can do it lasts for a minute, so I could do that and then do the help action.
Concentration up to a minute.
Yeah.
Please.
Pretty please give us money.
He kind of like...
I can feel Artie squinting from here.
He kind of looks...
I'd actually been saying that, but I'd muted myself and forgotten long since I got to that point.
I bet it's a handsome squint. Wink.
He kind of looks down at the pile of stuff on his counter, and he looks back at you, and he says, Okay, Mr. Smart Guy. Exactly how much would you think I would be capable of giving you in this instance? Name a number.
Well, given what we offer and the quality of the products, I would say 650.
550.
575.
560.
565.
565, and I get his hat. Or his stick.
Ooh. See.
Because he doesn't know what the stick does, he just thinks it's a stick.
Yeah. This is a matter of pride to him. Oh shit. See, my friend is a superstitious type.
Mm.
And Renji's immediately trying to attempt to code switch and pull his accent. See, if he's from the wilds, see, and if I attempt to take that stick to give it to you, my friend might not be so inclined to work together, as it were. He's a true beast of a man if he gets angry.
Mm.
So I'm okay with 562.
Mm. And he kind of like scans over each.
Just
both
because
of
I
you.
don't want my friend to get upset.
Mm. He scans over both of you again and says, 561, and that's my final offer.
Deal. I shake his hand.
Shakes your hand. He provides you with 561 gold pieces.
And I gently push the bounty towards him.
Okay. Gladly takes it. He takes out like a couple of trays from beneath his desk and like gently puts them on the trays and puts them away. And he says, well, pleasure doing business with you. Both of you.
Likewise. Your name is for future trade?
Diamante is my name.
That's quite a fashionable name, I must say.
God damn is a fashionable name. I like to pride myself on my name. It's not many Gorons who go around being called Diamante, you know? It's exotic.
It is. It's a powerful name.
Mm.
Strong. Resistant. I'm Renji Vox of Castle Town.
Nice to meet you, Renji Vox of Castletown.
Likewise, Diamante. Don't come here very often, but when we do, I'll be sure that if we're ever in the need for some fine jewelry or some exotic metals, I'll be sure to knock on your door.
Mm. Very well. Have a good day, friends.
You too.
Okay. And, yeah. So you head on out, richer and lighter for it.
Here's all that other trade goods we still have to deal with.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
boy.
There'll be other shops. But yeah. I'm guessing, is there any other place that you'd like to go to before heading back to the stables to meet with everyone else?
Oddly enough, I think actually spices would be worse in a port because that's where they're going to be most commonly already there.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, I have currently about 1,200 gold pieces with added money from Diamante. Ziden.
That much we split out each.
Okay, yeah.
Just add that. We'll say we add it to each other at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Each person gets 2 gold pieces and 5 copper pieces.
Yeah. I'm actually looking for something that can help with disguises. Do you find like a magic vendor?
I found 2.
You
I'll
found
take you to
2.
the one I shopped at, and I will take him immediately back to the Admiral.
Okay. What I'm going to say is, for the sake of brevity, because I'd
Mhm.
like to, I feel like we've been
Do
in
something
Sarkoza for a
else.
while.
Yeah, fair.
You go in. You're looking for. I'm guessing you're probably looking for something like a hat of disguise.
I'm looking for something that can can disguise people, but isn't something that you have to attune to.
There's this thing called a disguise kit.
I
Maker.
do. No, I'm familiar with that.
Which apparently I'm proficient in for some reason.
I'm looking for something more convincing.
You sure don't want Max to do your makeup?
I would love that. Don't get me wrong.
I'd love to glam up with you sometime, Max, but
I'm not sure if Max would like that.
Well, I don't know. He's never done it before. I'm sure he's great at it, because apparently he's proficient.
if you're asking specifically for a magic item that can disguise you without the need for attunement, sadly he cannot provide you with that. He can only provide you with a hat disguise, which looks like a very big, ostentatious April's hat with a massive fucking feather on top of it, because it's what he does.
Fair.
Otherwise, but that does require attunement. He doesn't believe he has anything that is a non-attunable disguise option.
Then no. Then it's fine.
Okay. So you head back to the stables. For the sake of fairness, Hikan, after getting all of your stuff, is there anything else you would like to do in Sarkoza?
In Sarkosa, no. I don't know, since Hikan's literally running around to fishmongers, to general stores, doing the rest of it, and buying all sorts of different things, is literally running through Sarkosa. I don't know if he would meet up at the same time as everyone else, but regardless, until somebody with a haversack or bag of holding comes in, they just see Hikan just holding a big bundle of stuff.
I imagine Max is going to be the first to find you.
Yeah.
It's just like, sigh, open bag.
Yours has pockets, and so I'll actually start organizing it, like putting the tents in one part of the bag, putting the horse feed in another part. I'll keep like
It's
the
like
cooking supplies and the fish.
It's
and the
3
food,
pockets, and Max says this one's off limits.
Okay, but yeah, like the tents and like the tents go in one part of the bag, and then like the horse feed goes in the other, and Kikan keeps the cooking set, fish and herbs on his person.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, he puts the fish in one because extra dimensional spaces and rotting things.
Yeah. Okay. So you've acquired all your stuff. You've gone back to the stables. You've gotten your horses. After saddling up, you take one last glance behind you to the port town of Sarkoza before you make your way out into the wilderness once again. By the time you leave, it's around about midday. So as you kind of journey onwards, you'll find yourself more or less getting to about... I mean, I wish the game would be... I wish Roll20 would not use the markers to cover the distance when I right-click the thing, but get to about here. Before it gets to sometime in the mid-evening. There we go.
29 miles.
29 miles. It's about early evening by the time you reach that particular spot. While you're on horseback, you're also going off the beaten path, and you have to navigate around trees and uneven ground. As you begin to ride away, the smell of sea air begins to leave you, being replaced with the temperate smell of foliage. As you're wandering, I want you guys to go ahead and make for me a perception check, please.
Perception, go.
8.
I always love doing these. 19.
I got
19.
14.
Okay.
25.
25. Ordinarily, I should be using my passive scores, but for the sake of it, didn't have my Excel spreadsheet open at that point. But yeah, so as you ride along, Hikan and Renji, you spot something off to the side. It's kind of ahead of you and to the left, but it looks like there's something big caught in one of the trees.
I hold up my hand and then point it out and try and look at it. How close is it?
It's about 50 feet away, and there's a few trees between you and it, so the image isn't terribly clear. But it looks like there's something hanging from that big tree.
Wanna check it out?
Sounds reasonable.
I maneuver my horse so that it walks past it, and when I'm within about say 30 foot, I blink a few times and I use detect magic.
Okay. So as you
I have my staff ready.
as you get in within 30 feet of it, you see the things that hang from the tree. A very apt turn of phrase, are several bodies. All of them are Rivazora. All of them appear to be draped in rags and seemingly badly beaten. As you kind of approach, you see one in the middle has a familiar milky white eye that just stares ahead with this kind of frozen expression of fear. And written on them in red in kind of a sequence is, "You have been warned."
Okay, this must be a message for someone else.
Gee, I wonder who this can refer to.
Well, so far, either this is... I'm not entirely certain. It could be good news, it could be very bad news. One thing's for certain. We're dealing with some ruthless people here.
He did say they'd kill him.
Yes. We only see Rivazora, correct?
Yeah.
All wearing the same type of ragged clothing.
Yeah.
All the mist wraiths.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the
the ones
guards?
we had arrested.
Did Lord Fairwind sign with Dawn with a symbol, out of curiosity?
The only symbol that you've noted would have been the emblem of the Twilight Cartel, the Northern Star. There is one of the bodies is marked with that in red, along with the rest of the text. But other than the word Dawn, there isn't really much else attributed to Fairwind himself.
Okay. Hikan's, even though there's one in the chest of a Rivazora, he's not one to sit there and desecrate bodies further. But he's gonna go up to the tree that they're hanging on, pull out one of the 3 sets of poison claws he has,
Mhm.
and he's gonna carve the symbol of the Twilight Cartel into the tree. And then he's gonna take one of those sets, like one of the hands, and then stab it really deep through the symbol.
You do so with your added strength and technique, and the corrosive properties of the claws themselves. It sinks deep into the tree with a satisfying thunk, penetrating the symbol of the Twilight Cartel that you have carved into the bark, and remaining there, sturdy and yeah.
Do you think we should cut them down, bury the bodies?
Would we know Zora religious things? I get the impression that they wouldn't bury bodies, they'd probably set them to sea.
Roll for a religion check.
Religion, oh. 24.
24. In regards to what you understand of Rivers-Aura customs, it's a bit of a mix. They're a nomadic people. They don't really have a place where they can, like, bury someone. If they do, they usually bury them traditionally. But otherwise, they kind of let Rivers-Auras lay where they are. They let their fellows kind of die where they stand and don't touch them. As kind of a mark of we are on the move, and really we have no other place. Like, you're in kind of a survivalist sort of. It'd be too much of a burden to carry this dead body for reasons, but also in a somewhat symbolic gesture of he died doing what he was.
It's like a sky burial where you just leave the bird to eat it.
Yeah.
I think we do cut them down, but we leave them around the tree.
Max is gonna keep a lookout in case we're being observed.
Somebody got a blade that's not covered in acid since Max took the dagger. Because I can get up there easily enough.
I can make you a knife, and I also have the.
No, I will provide him with the Zora scimitar that I have. Seems more appropriate.
Okay. Take the scimitar, and then I will scramble up the tree, swinging from branch to branch until I get to the branch that they're hanging on, or if they're hanging on multiple, to those branch cut, to the other branch cut, so on and so forth.
Yeah, it's not too far up the tree, and with your passive 18 in acrobatics, you're more than capable of getting up there, and just with great agility, just cutting down each of the bodies before none of them remain hanging from the tree.
Since Hikan's parents were more religious-based monks, would it be sort of like a thing where they would close the eyes in Sheikah tradition of bodies?
Yeah,
Kind of like they tend to.
I'd say so.
Then Hikan will close the eyes of each one as he lays them flat, and he will say, because Tyrina said some things when she was burying bodies, he will go through and say some of the things he overheard her saying.
Yeah. Once again, as you do that, much like before when you spoke to the priest back in Hyrule Castle town, you do get that kind of this warm recognition inside of you that you can't truly explain. But you recite a small prayer to Etheria to guide their souls onwards to the next world. After a short amount of time, you've somewhat, in a fashion, laid them to rest. Do continue on?
I think so.
As we lay them to rest, I look at the bodies, lower my head. That's another broken promise. And then I return to my horse.
How fast is the horse's walking pace, out of curiosity, in this type of environment?
Walking pace is about... I'd say walking speed would be about 35 feet around.
Okay. Hikan will take about 10 minutes before he gets back on the horse, helping guide them through the immediate area on foot.
Okay. And so it is that you continue onwards, moving through the wilderness once again, before eventually finding yourself about here, as the sun begins to set. In this small patch of wilderness, you do occasionally come across a few roads. As you pass through, you can see the ruins of what used to be buildings and attempted settlements, much like the Echo of Hylia, though significantly less successful than that. Where you just see the outline of where buildings were meant to be. Beaten paths that may have been walked a long time ago, but no suggestion of a soul in sight. And as you're walking along the river, or walking like almost in parallel to the Great River, you do see a couple of streams that seem to break off of it, and forming a few things. And eventually you come across a bridge. This bridge in particular appears to be a standard, well-crafted wooden bridge. So despite there being no one living here, it's possible that this place has been maintained and seen some use over time. And in fact, it is currently seeing some use as of now. As you approach the bridge, you see a number of individuals, all of them wearing robes of some description, though the hoods are down so you can clearly see their faces, and they all appear to be Hylian of various different varieties, with the exception of 3 who all have their hoods up. A few of them who are standing on the bridge at this point in time are currently looking over the water and discussing with each other about something, while people who are on the other side of the bridge from you appear to be kind of looking around and with their hands together almost in reverence. The ones with their hoods up appear to be talking to each other, these 3, just kind of chattering to each other. How do you approach the situation? Do you approach stealthily? Do you approach openly?
Hikan would like to sneak up off of horse.
Okay.
Sure.
Are we going sneaky?
Yes.
I think some of us should not be sneaky.
Anybody who wants to be sneaky is now oh so very sneaky.
Pass without trace.
Pass without trace.
I'll stay back with Mara for a moment.
Mara's gonna stay put as you guys approach.
I'm also gonna stay back because I don't need to be close.
I'll join Hikan.
All right.
For me. Your stealth checks, everybody.
And Mask of the Wild.
31 for me.
22.
Okay. Hey Max, did you say you're going with them or?
No, I was staying with stay
Okay.
back.
Alright. So you approach very stealthily with your 31 and 22. Yeah. I don't know why I rolled. It would be a passive check, and they don't have that. So as you kind of approach, you begin to overhear some of their chatter. One of them says to the other, "Are you sure this is the correct place? I mean, I always thought that this kind of gathering of ours would be in some form of more artificial location." And another one says, "I don't think that there is much else that can be done in this situation, mainly. I mean, we pray as we are in this kind of congregation of ours. We don't have places of worship, do we? Well, no, of course we don't, but it just seems very far out of the way. I mean, we are a day's walk from Drumnik, aren't we? Well, I mean, we're following the advice, and this is something that we are really into, right? I mean, this is how we've been taught. And the other one says, yes, I know. You don't want to be scared anymore, do you? I thought, no. Do you? Well, of course not. Want to be scared? It's scary enough times as it is. And that's what says, yes. I know I shouldn't dwell on it too much. It's alright. Okay. Just gotta follow the instructions, and this is more or less how we do it, after all. Yeah. And he turns to the three figures who are very hooded over. This is how we do it, right? And one of the hooded figures glances slightly towards the person who tried to get their attention. They don't say anything. Really don't hear them say anything. And it's not like a muffle that's too far away. It's pure silence. But the other guy says, Right. Okay. Fine. And and they begin to kind of lean on the edges of the bridge and look into the river as it passes beneath them in a trickle of water.
Hikan is looking for two things. Any symbols he might recognize, and any beaks coming out of the hooded robes.
Okay. Make a perception check.
A 16.
You don't see any beaks coming out of the hooded robes. From what you can see, the beaks themselves appear, or the fingers themselves, the beaks appear to be non-existent. The figures appear to be humanoid, much like or properly humanoid, much like the Hylians that stand around them. It's just that the hood is drawn and they're covered in shadow. You can see something that looks like iconography on some of the robes themselves, but you can't exactly make it out from this position. It might be that the fabric of those robes is too crumpled up. The robes of the unhooded figures appear to be plain kind of dark brown robes of some description.
I will attempt to assist Ziden in maybe identifying that by pointing out the symbol and whispering in Sheikah, does that look familiar?
Is it a religion thing?
Make a perception check to get with advantage to get a decent idea as to what it is.
27.
27. Okay. I'm going to type this to you privately.
Ooh.
Secret.
In the meantime, this would be where our sponsorship would be if we had one.
At this point, it sounds like our sponsorship is if we had one.
I would gladly take money to play games.
Yes, so would I.
Please, someone on the internet, pay me to play games.
Oh. Type.
Hey, harder, faster, better, stronger.
Daft Punk intensifies.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Ziden will use his helm, his circlet of telepathy, to quietly say to Hikan that it looks like the image of a hand, the fingers spread in a grasping motion. In the center of the palm is an eye with a set of pointed teeth surrounding it.
Hikan can respond telepathically, right?
Yes.
Hikan tells Ziden to let the others, especially Renji, know. And Hikan pulls out the shocking stick and waits.
Ziden will sneak back to the group then. And again, he'll use the use the telepathy to start with Renji, inform him of this. Given I imagine he's even further back than I am, so I don't have to go all the way back.
Hmm.
And inform him to tell the others that. So I believe it was 3 of them which have that mark, and then 2 fairly ordinary-looking Hylians.
The moment you...
I would say the total of normal Hylians is 8, while the 3 and they all have just plain brown robes with the hoods down, and then there's 3 hooded figures which have that symbol on it.
Okay, that's yes. I will relay this information first, then inform him of the shape of the symbol.
Okay. The moment you mention the shape, the symbol, the hairs on my neck stand up, and I take in a deep breath, then say to Max, who is with me, correct?
Max and Mara.
Yes.
There's trouble. And I...
Take it this is an us problem.
It's an us problem. And I say, it's an us problem. Toothed eye.
What does that mean?
The symbol with Simeon.
That one, right?
Yeah. Bad stuff. And I get off my horse. I look at Mara. Keep the horses safe for now.
Okay.
Stay within eyesight. But we gotta go. And I start running through the trees. If there's like trees here.
Yeah, there's a few trees.
Behind you.
I could definitely put the password trace on all of us. You just didn't have to.
We'd entered the field, so.
Mm-hmm.
I say, were you attempting to be stealthy in your approach, or
yes.
you just okay? Roll your stealth then, please.
So 22.
22.
32.
Yeah. Okay.
Ziden's with you.
All right.
Yeah.
So you run up and you get into position with the others. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to very quickly move you over to the map. Battle map. Won't fight today because we're getting close to the end of our time.
Oh boy, those are some spooky ass icons.
Yeah. Yes, they are. And yeah, so where would you like to arrange yourself in stealth mode as you have arrived on this map of ours?
Probably like here?
Where's the limit on where we can stand? Would be a good question.
I will make a box and say that it is within this general area as you approach.
Okay.
If we say you're here, we're basically hiding in the tree line. So.
Yeah.
Hikan would be right here, mostly because of his Zap'em stick.
Zap.
And he's peering at the rest of the party, waiting for the ghost signal.
Just look at Renji. This ghost signal's going to be very loud.
I nod and say, can we do that together?
No, because if we do it together, each of us would have to deal with the constitutional. One of us have to deal with the.
You can teleport.
Like you could pull one of me along.
Yeah, you can. Do you want to pull me along, or do you want me to get you there?
Oh, if we're pulling, we have to go into the middle there.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Could you go there, actually?
Yes, definitely.
I suggest you pull then.
What I'd say is that as you're planning this, I'll give you an extra 2 weeks worth of planning, because
Oh boy, so much strategy.
we're
So
going
much strategizing.
so much strategizing,
I'm going to save. They're going to print
I was
school.
about to say, I'm grabbing Snip and Sketch right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I am just gonna throw lightning bolts. I don't have strategy.
You and me both.
Strategy is for other people.
Strategy is overrated.
Although
I'm
wouldn't
just waiting
a
for the
normal
ghost
strategy
signal.
be start by those two lightning straight down? And
Oh,
then
you
get
said straight. That's gonna be at a pretty wonky angle.
move first.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Look
But-
at this target-rich environment.
In the meantime, thank you very much for watching episode 47 of Hyrule Chronicles, or listening to it if you're listening on the podcast. Speaking of which, I figured out on SoundCloud how to do an RSS feed. So if you want to add that to your iTunes and stuff, there will be a description in the podcast and in the Twitch archive and on the YouTube how to do that. But in the meantime, thank you for consuming this podcast entertainment thing. I have been ArticulateT, the Game Master, and with me as always, I have had Renji Vox being played by TheNetherlad.
Happy consumption.
I have had Hikan Sio being played by Alvarance.
Taste my lightning, fuckers!
I've had Ziden Shari being played by Robot Pirate.
This is going to be so very loud.
And I have had Max being played by Keistrith.
Aaron's out, you're stealing my fucking gimmick.
And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.